I first found out about Children's Home Society when the business that I work for had to give gifts to a charity, Christmas gifts to a charity. And we chose Children's Home Society as our recipient for those gifts. So we went over there and took a tour, and quite amazed at the whole facility and their mission and what they were doing there. Well, Tim and I had problems having children. We tried for many years to have a child, and finally Nolan came along, but we wanted a big family, and that wasn't going to happen for us unless we adopted. So we were considering adopting children, but then we just got involved with Children's Home, and we're thinking, there's so many children out there available for adoption. You know, let's get more involved in this process and see if we can see if something will happen through this.
For me, it was just seeing that was going on in our backyard in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Coming from Minneapolis, a larger city, you're more prone, I guess, to seeing that child abuse. And it blew me away that in Sioux Falls at that time, 100,000 people, that it was in our backyard. In fact, we wrote a check out that day when we left. That's how we were moved financially, too. Yeah, our son Nolan was 6 when we started doing foster care, and it made him a better person. He got to see the other side of the coin, being an only child.
There were a lot of situations growing up with these kids where I was the go-between. You know, like I said, they didn't trust parental figures, and the one person they could come to a lot of times was me. And I could go to my parents with that. And my parents, you know, they don't know what it was like for kids that age growing up at that time, and I had a better idea than they did, so I could also help them out on what these kids were going through in school or anything like that.
I lived in Madison with my biological mom and her boyfriend. Wasn't a good situation, bounced around from family member to family member. I came to Children's Home because she really couldn't take care of me. She's not all there upstairs. And her boyfriend was very abusive towards me and my sisters, who was at Children's Home until I was about 9. My life probably would have been a disaster if I didn't go to CHS.
Well, I'm an open book, so yeah, without Children's Home Society, I'd probably be maybe in jail. You know, I was with an abusive mom, and she, you know, abusive single mom, and like Children's Home Society got me out of there. So if I was still in there, I would have started taking some of her behaviors and probably would have got, you know, physical myself. Pretty much either jail or just being a punk kid, you know, maybe on drugs or something.
Being a big buddy was a small step in helping the kids, and Diane and I have just always loved children. I coached baseball. Originally, we weren't supposed to have any children. We didn't have Nolan until he was later in life, and just, I guess, being the hands and feet of Jesus, we felt called. And when we sat down and talked that night, that's what we went over. And we both felt the calling, and wanted to take it to the next level. And trying to earn the trust of the children when they come in. They're not going to trust you right out of the chute. So build a rapport, keep it very simple, let them know what to expect while they're at our home for the weekend. If it's regimented, the more regimented, the better. Breakfast is at 8, lunch is at noon, dinner's at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow we're going to go fishing in the afternoon. Give them something to hang on to.
If I could say anything to Tim and Diane right now, I would thank them for showing me how good it can be to be in a family. I think I'd had so many negative experiences. It was really hard for me to find any enjoyment in it and to really be able to trust and open up in that kind of situation.
Being a foster child was interesting for me. It was kind of confusing because I thought that I was leaving my family. I wouldn't be able to go back to them. But when I got introduced to Tim and Diane, I realized these people are here to help me. They just want to try to give me the best things in life. And ever since I was with them, they taught me how to hunt. I had probably some of the best times of my life with them. Not every home has to be violent. Not every home has to have arguments. And being with them made me realize that you can be in a loving environment. You can be in a place where everyone cares about you and not has to think about you. You don't have to look over your shoulder thinking that someone's going to talk about you. Being with them kind of made me realize that life can be fun. Life is fun.
To help those kids get into public school and to find their forever family and to just be normal. That's what they want. And to help them through that was what made it all worthwhile.
The greatest thing CH just helped me with is they found me my family, who, as you can ask anyone, Tim and Diane, they're not my biological parents, but I have never met a nicer and more sincere couple in my life, and I can say this from the bottom of my heart. I love and thank Tim and Diane for everything they've done for me.